Hello and welcome to today's online class for class 12. In our last class, we studied about the concept of vapor pressure. When a pure liquid is confined in a container which is closed, the vapor that is formed in the empty space above the liquid surface gives the vapor pressure. Now the vapor pressure from this process is contributed entirely by that pure liquid, because inside the container only one component, that is the liquid, is present. Now instead of that liquid, if I take a solution of that liquid, where a solute which is non-volatile in nature, a solution assuming 100% non-volatile in nature, then the vapor pressure of that solution, let's represent it by P. The theory is saying that the vapor pressure of that solution of that liquid containing a non-volatile solute will be much lesser compared to the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. The reason is very easy to observe. On the surface of the solution, there are solvent molecules along with the solute molecules also. But in case of pure solvent, on the surface of the solvent, only the solvent molecules are present. Therefore, numbers of solvent molecules is much more in pure solvent compared to the solution, which results in higher amount of evaporation in pure solvent compared to the solution, resulting in higher vapor density in pure solvent compared to the solution of that pure solvent. This lowering of vapor pressure of the solution compared to the pure solvent was studied by Rouse, and he stated a law which says that supposedly you have taken a liquid which is volatile in nature and you have confined that liquid in a closed container. Now you will get the vapor pressure of that pure liquid, pure solvent. The vapor pressure is represented as P0, which is the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. Now what you have done, you have added some amount of solute in that solvent to produce a solution. Now the solvent that you have added, it is completely non-volatile in nature. That was the assumption that he took. The solute that he has taken is completely 100% non-volatile in nature. Now the solution when you are making with that pure solvent, after the mixing, the vapor pressure will not be the same as the as before for the pure solvent. Now the vapor pressure that you will be getting is the vapor pressure of the newly formed solution, which is represented by P. He is stating that this vapor pressure of the solution, now that you have got, you can calculate that by multiplying the vapor pressure of this pure pure solvent, multiplying it with the mole fraction of the solvent in the solution. Let's try to study this plot. When two axes collide in this point, this is the point of origin. We all know about this. This is the point of origin, and most of the time it starts from the value 0. For this axis, starting from 0, when this axis moves towards the right hand side, it means that the positive integer value is increasing in the right hand side. The more right you will go, the more the positive integer value will increase. This is for this axis. For this axis is the same. The more you increase, going towards the upward side, perpendicular with this axis, along this axis, more positive value is increasing. This is the normal plot or graph that we all have studied. Now what is it saying is that for this particular axis, my minimum point value, my lowest point value is 0, and my maximum point value is at the infinity. I can go as many bigger number as I want to go, I can go there. The same goes for this axis also. Supposedly, I am representing this with a fraction. Now here comes the point that needs to be noted. For fraction, the lowest value is 0 and the highest limiting value is 1. For any integer number, for any number, my lowest to highest value is minus infinity to plus infinity. But for fractional numbers, my lowest limiting value is 0 and my highest limiting value is always 1. So if I am going to represent this axis with a fractional value, I can start my lowest limiting value as 1, but I cannot just keep on going towards infinity. I have to end at a particular point which represents my value 1. So if I am taking this axis with a fractional value, in that case, this axis will not represent an infinite amount of infinitely long axis. There is a limit to it which is confined to 0 to 1. For this axis, it's not. It can goes on as much higher as it can goes. So for this kind of plot, this plotting is a little bit different. This axis again comes here parallel with each other. This is a specific types of plotting where my x-axis is not increasing towards infinity, but confined to a limiting value between 0 to 1. In that case, I have to use this kind of plot instead of our normal plots. Now the fractional value that I am going to take in here is my mole fraction in solution. And this axis will be represented by, I am going to take vapor pressure. Now mole fraction I have taken in the solution, and in the previous we just studied the Raoult's law, which is saying P equals to P naught multiplied x1. x1 is my mole fraction of the solvent in the solution, which is I am going to represent by this x-axis, and the vapor pressure I am going to represent with these two perpendicular axes. Now when I am saying 0, that means this x1 I am taking as 0. If I am taking this x1 as 0, this P, which is representing the vapor pressure of this solution, becomes 0. So for a vapor pressure of the solution, that is P versus x curve, this P versus x curve, for this P versus x curve, the point of starting point will be my 0. Now at this point, when x1 equals to 1, means I have taken the maximum amount of solution, the maximum amount of solvent that I can take. At this point, P becomes P naught. P becomes P naught. Now this is the point where x1 equals to 1. So I have to point this P naught value over this axis onto some kind of a value, on some point. Now this is nothing but y equals to mx curve, a straight line equation starting from the origin, which can be stated like this. This is my plot for the vapor pressure of a solution containing a non-volatile solute with its mole fraction of the solvent plot. Let's take an example of a volatile solvent, pure solvent confined in a closed container. The vapor pressure of that pure solvent at that particular position when it is only present alone in the closed container is my pure vapor pressure of that pure solvent, which is represented by P naught 1. Now let's assume there is another closed container in which another substance is confined, which is also volatile in nature. So there will be the vapor pressure of that particular substance in that container. Let's say the vapor pressure of that substance in that pure state is P02. Now in a third container, let's assume this both two substances which are both are volatile in nature has been added and a solution is prepared. Now this vapor pressure that we will be getting is the vapor pressure of the pure solvent that we had produced. The vapor pressure of that pure solvent is represented by P, and it will be given by the partial pressure of substance 1 and the partial pressure of substance 2. Now substance 1 I have taken in a larger amount. So substance 1 in this solution is my solvent and substance 2 is my solute, but both of them are volatile in nature. So the vapor pressure that we are getting in here is being contributed by both this solvent and solute, which was not the case for the last example that we had studied. It was the non-volatile solute we had taken, but in this example we have taken both the solute and the solvent, a volatile one. In this case, individually we can apply Raoult's law in them. The partial vapor pressure of the solvent, the substance 1, the solvent that we had taken to produce that solution, we can apply Raoult's law and we can get that P1, the partial vapor pressure of the solvent, equals to P1 naught multiplied X1. This X1 is the mole fraction of the solvent in the solution. P2 is the partial vapor pressure given by the solvent in the solution. It can also be found with the help of Raoult's law. P2 equals to P2 naught multiplied X2. Now we can put this value into the total amount of vapor pressure of the solution equation, which is P equals to P1 plus P2, or P equals to P1 naught multiplied X1 plus P2 naught multiplied X1. This is the equation for the vapor pressure of the solution containing a volatile solute and a volatile solvent. Let's try to do the graphical plot for this equation, for this previous expression that we just studied. P is the vapor pressure of the solution equals to P01 plus P1 naught into X1 plus P2 naught into X2. Now this is the similar graph or plot that we just studied. We have taken mole fraction in here, that's why this specific graph needs to be studied in this case also. The mole fraction is in the solution. Now, as we are studying about a solution where both solvent and solute molecule both are volatile in nature, in this mole fraction in the solution we have to take consideration of the mole fraction of solvent as well as the solute also. X1 is represented by the mole fraction of the solvent and X2 is represented by the mole is represented as mole fraction of the solute. Now, when I am taking X1 equals to 0, I am trying to tell you that in this solution there is the mole the amount of solvent is 0. That is, there is no solvent present in the solution. So only solute is present. When in an entire mixture only one component is present, that component can be represented as, in the fractional point of view, in 1. That's why X2 is 1, because now only solute is present in here. In this point, X1 is 1, meaning there is, and X2 is 0, meaning the solute is taken as 0, means no solute is present in the solution in this point, at this point, only solvent is present. So when only solvent is present, the entire amount of solvent is taken as whole, which in the fractional term is 1, and vapor pressure in both the sides. This is the plot. This is the plot for this particular expression. Now, when I am taking X1 equals to 0 in this case, this plot will become, this entire term will become 0 and this will become P2. Now, why P2? When X1 equals to 0, X2 equals to 1. So this P equals to becomes P2, that is the vapor pressure of the solution only can be represented by the vapor pressure of the solute. Let's say vapor pressure of the solute is this. So at this point my vapor pressure will be represented onto this point over this axis. When x1 equals to 1, at that point here x2 equals to 0, so this entire value will become 0 and x1 equals to 1, meaning this expression will become P equals to P1 not only, meaning the vapor pressure of the solution at this point will be represented by P1 naught. Let's put it in here. Let's assume that the vapor pressure of the pure solvent is greater than vapor pressure of the pure solute. As solvent is present in a higher amount, the vapor pressure of the solvent is always going to be the pure solvent is always going to be the higher compared to the vapor pressure of the solute. So if I take this graph and plot this thing, this is an entirely straight line equation with increasing value. This is my vapor pressure of the solution versus mole fraction plot. Now this entire thing you can write when P naught P1 equals to P naught into x1. When x1 equals to 0, this P1 becomes 0, means this point. Again it will start at x2 equals to x1 equals to 1, so P1 equals to P1 naught, it will end in here. This one is for my only solvent, this one is for solution. For solute I can also plot this inside of this plot only. This is the partial pressure expression for solute. P2 equals to P2 naught multiplied x2. When x2 equals to 1, this P2 equals to P2 equals to P2 naught, which is this point P2 naught. This is my P2 naught. This one is my P1 naught. And when x2 equals to 0 at this point, this entire value will become 0. So it will start from here to here. So this is for my solute. So within this plot, I can actually plot my solution graph, my solvent graph and my solute graph. Mole fraction of a component in a mixture is given by the partial pressure of that component by the total pressure. The same concept can be applied in this case to find out the mole fraction of the solute and a solvent in a mixture of a volatile solute and volatile solvent. Let's take Y1 is the mole fraction of the solvent in the vapor phase. Mind you, X1 was the mole fraction of the solvent also, but in the solution. Y1 I have taken in here, we will study Y1 as the mole fraction of the solvent also, but in the vapor phase. So in the vapor phase it is going to be, as it is a mole fraction, so it is going to be represented by the partial pressure of the solvent by the total vapor pressure, which is P1, partial vapor pressure of the solvent in vapor phase by the total vapor pressure P. P1 is represented by the Raoult's law as P1 naught x1, and P from the Raoult's law is expressed in the expression P1 naught x1 plus P2 naught x2. Similarly, we can find out about the mole fraction of the solute in the vapor phase also, which is represented by Y2. This is different from the mole fraction of the solute X2 in the solution. This is the mole fraction of the solute in the vapor phase, which is represented by this Y1. Is given by P2, partial vapor pressure of the solute, by the total vapor pressure P1. P2 by P1, which is also represented by the Raoult's law expression, which is Y2 equals to P2 naught x2 by P1 naught x2 plus P2 naught x2. Try to do this homework on your own. It is saying that Raoult's law is a special case of Henry's law explained. You can take help from net also or any kind of book, but try to do this on your own.